Hi everybody, and welcome to another live session. This is live session number 155. Yes, it means that for the last 155 weeks, I am here every week talking about the engineering qualification validation in Australia and other subjects related to engineering. And tonight, one of the very popular series is about how you can get your first professional job here in Australia. And in that series, I'm going to talk about 7 powerful tips to get a professional job here in Australia. But first, for those that don't know me, my name is Gerson Ida. I'm the founder of the website www.engineersinaustralia.com, a website that I created more than 3 years ago, and I share information about engineering qualification validation and other subjects related to engineering. And also, if you haven't joined my Telegram group yet, I welcome you to join the group. I've got a group called Engineering Qualification Validation, and they join my Telegram group, and where I share some posts and some information about the engineering qualification. So I pasted in YouTube, pasted in Instagram, and see if I can paste in Facebook. If I can't, yeah, it looks like Facebook. Yeah, it's always something strange with Facebook. It gives me that the page is busy at the moment, but I can see that the transmission is going okay. All right, so I'm going to start with the content, and of the 7 tips that I'm going to share with you tonight, the first 5, they are related to your CV, your cover letter, and your professional interview, and then the last 2 tips, they probably the most important one, so stay with me until the end. And if you have any questions, and also I would like to know if you can write in the comments, what is your main question when you are searching for a professional job here in Australia? So please write in the comments, send me your comments or your questions in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to answer those ones. So tip number 1, it's about the it's about the cover letter. So tip number 1, consider the cover letter as a document more important than the CV. As you probably know, here in Australia, there are 2 very important documents when you are searching for a job. One is your CV, your curriculum vitae, and the other one is your cover letter. It's a document that you're going to address the competencies required by the job description, and when you're going to present yourself and explain why you would be the best option for that job. So welcoming an opportunity for a professional interview. But many job seekers, they invest a lot of time and a lot of effort in their CVs or resume, and they don't really pay too much attention to the cover letter. And this can be a very serious, almost fatal mistake in your job search journey. Many employers and recruiters, they read the cover letter first, and depending on what's in the cover letter, they will then check the resume. For example, when I am in the panels, I read the cover letter first. If the cover letter does not address the competencies, then usually the CV is not going to tell much as well. And also it shows that when the cover letter is very generic and it's not addressing competencies, it also shows that the candidate didn't really spend a lot of time in reading the job description. Because usually in the job description, you will ask that in the cover letter, the candidate then addresses the competencies. Yeah, when it gets a bit cold, I get a little bit of hay fever. Sorry for that. So it means that when you're looking at your cover letter and your CV, and it means that the cover letter, it must emphasize the specific experiences that you have had, and including the body of your CV. So in your CV, you have a list of places that you worked for, and also some of the main results and some of the main activities. But in the cover letter, you will be addressing in a more descriptive way the key competencies or the selection criteria related to your experience. So you need to remember that when the recruiters and the employers, they are reading your cover letter, they have already in their mind the key competencies and the selection criteria. So they expect that when they read your cover letter, you will be addressing those. So just pay attention that it's very, very important for you to consider the cover letter a document as, if not more important than your resume. Tip number 2 is about customization of your curriculum. And that is another common mistake. A lot of applicants, and I see that every time that I am in the recruitment panel, every time that somebody sends me a CV. Sometimes people send me a CV saying, Gerson, can you have a look at the CV and see if it is good? And then just send me the CV. But they don't send me the position description. Then I reply saying, sorry, I can't really say if it is a good CV or not because you didn't send me a position description. And why do I say that? Because it is important to customize the CV. The CV must be tailored to the position description or the job vacancy that you are applying for. It's not good to have like a generic CV and then you kind of send this CV to every single position that you're going to apply for. Why is that? Because positions, they could be different. Each position will have their own competencies and skills required, and your CV needs to be customized to each position. If you don't do that, the recruiters or the employers, they will notice that you probably didn't spend a lot of time and you didn't invest effort and time to tailor your CV to that particular position, and you're just kind of sending a whole heap of CVs to many job positions. So very important, please remember to customize your CV when you are applying for jobs. Tip number 3, it's also about customization, but it's about customization of your cover letter. And this is a strategy that will make your cover letter much more attractive, much more likely to be appreciated by the panel member or by the recruitment agency or the employer who is reading your cover letter. As I said before, those people, they will have in their mind the selection criteria or the key competencies, and when you tailor your cover letter to those key competencies, you will create like a rapport with the recruitment agency or the panel member, and by creating that rapport, you will then obviously connect better and grab the attention of that panel member. So if you are tempted to kind of just do like a generic cover letter, not addressing competencies, please don't do that. It's not a good idea to send a generic cover letter saying that, I don't know, I would like to apply for this position and I believe I am the perfect candidate for the position because of my skills, etc., etc., and I welcome an opportunity for a professional interview. If you send this cover letter, it's not saying anything. It's not grabbing any attention. A good cover letter, customized cover letter, will address each of the key competencies or selection criteria. And then you will be grabbing the attention of the recruitment panel. So just be mindful of that. If your cover letter is not customized, it means that you didn't put effort, you didn't put enough time, and then the recruiter will have lots and lots of cover letters, and surely there will be a few that will be customized and they will grab the attention of the recruitment agency or the employer. So spend some time, invest your effort to have a customized cover letter. Tip number 4 is about professional interviews. Let's say that you've applied, you submitted your CV, you wrote a very good cover letter, a customized CV as well, and you get a phone call inviting you to be to participate in a professional interview. And then when you attend the professional interview, you need to answer the questions with real examples. So that's very important. When the panel of interviewers, they ask you questions, and they will have questions related to the job, they will have questions related to your soft skills, they will have questions, some maybe specific questions about some hard skills or technical content. But when the panel of interviewers, they ask you a question, they're usually interested in knowing you, how you handled a real situation, a real problem, rather than, oh, I would do this, or you give like a theoretical answer. That's not good. Why is that? Because companies, they want and they are after to recruit a competent professional, a competent engineer, a competent project manager, for example. And competent means that they have the knowledge and they have applied successfully that knowledge. So when you give a real example, it means that you had the knowledge and you applied and you had a successful example. So it means that you are demonstrating that you are competent in that field. So that's why it's very important. And when it's a real example, something that you did, even if the recruitment panel members, they start elaborating and asking more questions, because it is something that you did, obviously it's going to be in your mind. You will be able to answer very easily those questions, even without preparation, because you've done it, you know about it, it will be easier for you to answer. If you haven't done it, you're just using a theoretical example, you will say that, yeah, I would do this. If this happened, then I will do this. If this happened, I would do that, etc. But it's not as powerful. It's showing that you know the issue. It's showing that you know how to solve it. But when you use real examples, it shows that you know the issue, you know the subject, and you actually have done it. You've got real examples, you've got real outcomes. So usually when I apply for jobs or when I am in a panel, what I expect to hear is that the candidate will have some sort of a structure to answer the questions. First, they're probably going to give you some background of the project or the problem, and then they will describe the problem-solving methodology that they've used, and then list perhaps 2 or 3 options of solutions that they elaborated, and each option with the pros and cons, and then explain the reasons why you ended up choosing a particular option, A, B, or C, for example, and then describe the results that you achieved by implementing that option and what was your participation, what was your role in that outcome. So in the end, it's like a problem-solving description. So you state the problem, options, pros and cons, which option did you choose and why, your role in that implementation, and what was the outcome. So when you use this structure, you will be able to cover a very good range of responses, and using a real example, you are showing to the panel the one that you are structured, you are organized, and you are talking about a real example. Tip number 4. Is that tip number 4? No, tip number 5, I think. Lost count. So tip number 1 was consider the cover letter as document more important than the CV. Tip number 2 was to customize your curriculum. Tip number 2 was customize your curriculum. Tip number 3, customize your cover letter. Tip number 4, answer the questions with real examples. Tip number 5, don't leave until the last minute to write up your CV or your cover letter. A lot of candidates, they do this. Because of what? Because of procrastination. We all procrastinate. And then let's say that you go to seek.com.au. It's a website that you can find a job or search for jobs. And there is there, the closing date is in 5 days time. And then you automatically think, well, the closing date is in about just 5 days time, so I've still got 5 days to apply for this position. And that's when you're going to procrastinate, because you still have 5 days, so you don't need to do today. Why do it today if you can still do tomorrow? So that is the thinking of the procrastinator. So, and then you procrastinate, and tomorrow then you think you're busy, you're doing other things, and you think, oh, why do it today? I still have another 4 days, so you do it tomorrow. And then the day after tomorrow, why do it today? I still got another 3 days. And then obviously you procrastinate another day or two, and then it comes the deadline. Oh, it closes tomorrow, so I gotta do today. Or even I still got tomorrow, and then you leave to the last minute. Or it's closing 5 p.m., so it's just midday, so I've got another 5 hours. So you procrastinate, and when it comes to 4 p.m., then you think, well, I need to apply now because it closes 5 p.m. And then you leave to the last minute, and then you don't have time to do a good application. You don't have time to do a proper CV, a proper cover letter, and you ended up doing what? You send a generic cover letter, you send a generic resume. And obviously, your chances to be shortlisted for an interview is not going to be very good. When you do with some time, then you have time to research about the company, and that's a very good idea to do it. Research about the company, research about the culture and the values of the company, research about the projects that the company they are delivering, research about perhaps if you know already who are going to be in the panel, the members of the panel, perhaps you research about them, you search about their interests, their field of expertise, with the idea to create a rapport and to connect with them when you are writing up your CV and your cover letter. Remember, panel members, they will be analyzing 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 applications. And somehow you need to connect with them. If you do what everybody else does, obviously it's going to be very difficult for you to connect with the panel members. So you need to find a way that you'll be different. It could be the layout of your CV, it could be the layout of your cover letter, it could be some words that you use in your CV or cover letter, it could be some expressions, it could be some mentioning about the company project, it could be something, an experience that you did that is very similar to what the company is doing or the company has done. But you're not going to be able to do that if you leave to the last minute, because it takes time for you to research about the company, research about the panel members, and to customize your CV and your cover letter. So if you leave until the last minute, unfortunately, you're not going to have enough time to research, and you're not going to have enough time to customize your cover letter and your CV. All right, and also, like before going to tip number 6 and tip number 7, which are, in my view, very, very important tips to get a professional job, I would like to invite you to register to my free workshop. And the name of the workshop is I Want to Become an Engineer in Australia. So why is that? In this workshop, I will teach you how you can validate your engineering qualification here in Australia. It's a series of few videos and a lot of content, about 1 hour and a half in videos that I will teach you step by step how you can start your application process. It's free, it's online, you can watch the videos at your own time whenever you want. You just need to register in the workshop, and to register you just need to put your name and your email address, and that's it. You don't need to do anything else. I will actually show you how you can do that. I'm just going to set up here Chrome. Yes, I think now it's going. Yes. So if you go to my website, www.engineersinaustralia.com, yeah, that's my homepage there. You can just click here to register in the next free workshop. Once you click in there, it's going to open up a registration page, or the link that I pasted is already this registration page. So let's say put my name, my email address, my name. I'm a Brazilian, I'm living in Australia, and then register now. And that's it. You are 98% confirmed. Why is 98% confirmed? Because sometimes there are a couple of videos here, just 40 seconds. In those videos I explain how difficult emails they are. Sometimes they reach your inbox, sometimes they don't. And because the videos are sent by email, if the emails are going to the junk mailbox, probably you're not going to check your junk mailbox. Who does it? I don't. Well, sometimes I do, because I know that sometimes there are important emails that goes to junk mailbox. And then you can then join my WhatsApp group. In the WhatsApp, I keep putting the links to the videos, the links to the workshop. So if you're missing the links because the emails are going to your junk mailbox, then you can get the links from my WhatsApp group. But very easy, you just need to put your email address and your name, and that's it. And obviously, once you confirm, give 10 or 15 minutes and then check your email address. So just to make sure that the emails are going to your inbox and not going to your junk mail box. All right. Going to check if is there any question there. We're almost finishing. No question in YouTube. And also, I'm not sure, but my Facebook keeps giving me some error messages. But I don't think there is any question in Facebook as well. And Instagram, I don't believe there is any question there as well. All good. So we're going to the last two tips. So tip number 6, just going back to the full screen there. So tip number 6 is about networking. It's to increase your networking. And networking is vital for you to get noticed, get to know who is who in the zoo. That's an expression that we use here in Australia. So you know where people are, who are they, what do they do, what are their influences to help you to get a job. When you increase your networking, it elevates your profile and make connections. Obviously, LinkedIn is good. You can make connections in LinkedIn, but it's important for you to make connections and improve your networking in other areas as well. I know that with COVID, people now started to get back to face-to-face interactions. Still, there's a lot of online events, but the face-to-face events now started to come back. So very good opportunity for you to try to connect with organizations and institutions that they have this opportunity, like the Australian Institute of Project Management, Engineers Australia, the Institute of Public Works and Engineering in Australasia, and other organizations as well. So even the student agencies or the educational agencies, they have lots of events now, and they can connect you to other areas as well. There's a very nice networking with Sebastian Toro. That's it's a Latin networking, so it's very, very important for you to connect and to increase your networking. I'm probably going to do a live session just about networking, so I can explore and expand a little bit more. Another important part of the networking is that when you participate in those events, you can start building up your CPD, your continuing professional development. Because when you are going to validate your engineering qualification, it is important for you to demonstrate that you have done your CPD events, your continuing professional development events. All right. And then tip number 7. Tip number 7 is about to validate your engineering qualification. Why is that so important when you are searching for a professional job? Because a majority of reputable companies will ask if you have your engineering qualification validated, which demonstrates that you have been assessed by Engineers Australia and your qualification is equivalent to an Australian degree or an Australian technologist qualification or an Australian engineering associate qualification. Very, very important. And also important because when you are applying for a job, you need to remember that obviously you're not going to be the only one applying for that job. There will be other engineers that are applying for the job. And it is very likely that lots and lots of other engineers, they are already validated. And put yourself in the shoes of the recruitment agency or the employer. If you have lots of candidates and there are lots of candidates that they are validated and other candidates that are not validated here in Australia, and if they have similar skills and competencies, especially if you are applying, if you're going to get a first professional job, it's probably going to be an entry-level job, which means that most of the candidates will have similar competencies and similar skills. If the candidates, they have similar competencies and similar skills, what would be the difference between one candidate and another? It could be the fact that one is validated and the other one is not validated. And it happens a lot. When we advertise positions for engineers or project managers, we ended up getting lots and lots of applications from validated engineers, non-validated engineers, and also for some registered engineers here in Queensland. Obviously, in a hierarchy level, registered professional engineers of Queensland are at the top, validated engineers are in the middle, and non-validated are at the bottom. So which means that if I get 50 applications, and then let's say that 10 are registered, 20 are validated, and 20 are not validated, I'll probably going to discard the 20 non-validated and going to have a better look in the 10 registered and the 20 validated. Because when I shortlist, the panel will shortlist about 4 or 5 candidates to the interview. And if I have 30 people that are either registered or validated, I'm pretty sure that I will get at least 4 or 5 out of the 30 I don't need to consider the 20 that are not validated. So it means that if you are validated, at least you have a better chance to be shortlisted for a professional interview, especially when there is quite a large number of candidates that are applying for jobs. Obviously, there are some companies that they don't ask for the validation. Some companies don't even know that there is the validation process. But as an engineer, when you graduated, you made your oath to the engineering. You said that you're going to be abiding by the local legislation. So it is very important for public safety and for your own professional ethics as well. It's important that you get your qualification validated. And I say that because the job of an engineer, especially in Australia, where the profession of an engineer is not regulated nationwide, it's very important that we engineers, we embrace the profession of an engineer, and we value those ones that are validated, and we value those ones that are registered, because it's just going to be good for the society. The more validated or registered engineers here in Australia is going to be better for society, is going to be better for community, because obviously for public safety, reliability, and obviously for the reputation of our profession of engineers. So, any other question there? I don't believe, just conscious of time. So, I don't really have questions. Yeah, Ezekiel in Instagram is saying hi. Yeah, hello. Hello, Ezekiel in Instagram. Yeah, thanks for coming. And I don't really think there's any question, so it's all good. So next week I'm going to talk about the validation process and how you can use your experience as a project manager in the validation process, because I see that a lot of engineers in their home countries, they worked as project managers. And Engineers Australia doesn't really like you to emphasize your project management experiences in the validation process, because they are not validating you as a project manager, they're validating you as an engineer. And I've seen many cases where candidates already emphasize as project managers and they didn't get approved. So, but there is ways to take advantage of your experience as a project manager to use in your validation process, and I'm going to talk about this in our next live session, which is next Sunday, 8:30 p.m. and it's going to be live session number 156, which marks 3 years that I am doing these live sessions. So 52 weeks per year, 2 years, 104, 3 years, 156. So imagine 3 years every week doing live sessions here, sharing my knowledge, sharing my content with you for free to help you in your journey to validate your engineering qualification and to help you to get a professional job here in Australia. So I would like to thank you guys very much for your participation and your support. Don't forget to hit the like button. It helps me, motivates me, and helps the Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube to distribute this content to more people. So don't forget, if you like the content, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please, I invite you to check it out and consider subscribing. And if you're not following me in Instagram, I welcome you and I thank you if you follow me on Instagram as well. All right. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next Sunday, 8:30 p.m. Brisbane time, in the live number 156. We're going to talk about how you can use your project management experiences in the validation process. Thank you very much, And I'll see you then. Bye bye.